everyone. Welcome to Natural Grocers Nutrition Education presentation. We are pleased to introduce today's speaker, Dan Chapman. With a focus on improving the lives of others, Dan Chapman founded Red Remedies, which has evolved into an award-winning natural supplement provider and an advocate for holistic health approach to wellness. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks so much for having me today. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Chapman, founder of Red Remedies, and today we're going to talk about breaking the cycle of stress, anxiety, and depression. This is an important topic for us to talk about today. Certainly, I know that in this past year, we have all felt levels of stress that have been higher than what we're used to experiencing. So let's dive right into the topic. One of the things that I think is important to know is just what happens in the world overall. And if we look at emotional health diseases, in 2019, they were on a steady increase. All neural diseases were steadily increasing at a rate of about 10% a year. But then last year hit. Last year, we saw anxiety screenings increase 93% between March and September, and depression screenings went up 62%. So this gradual increase that we were seeing all of a sudden hit a very sharp spike. So it's important to understand, what do we do to protect our bodies and our brains from the negative effects of stress, which of course can lead to feelings of anxiety and even feelings of depression. So we're going to go over those things today. Before we step into this, I always like to know who I'm talking to. So let me spend just a quick minute and tell you who I am. I have a picture of my mom and dad on the screen here. My story, like all of us, starts with my parents. They started a health food store in the Chicago area in 1961. And that's the environment I grew up in. I literally grew up in the aisles of Sunrise Health Foods in the South Chicago area, and not just spent my childhood there, but my young adult career. And it was out of this experience that I started Red Remedies about 15 years ago now. Red means to put in order. It's the word we don't use so much in common language today, but it literally means to put in order. And that's our mission at Red Remedies, is to help people put their lives in order as it relates to health. And there's three things that are really important to us at this high level. First is results. My family got started in the natural food industry over 60 years ago because my mom was really sick in the 1950s. At that time, she was a young lady in her mid-20s and her body was just not cooperating. And a lot of her main symptoms were revolved around the topic we're going to talk about today. So everything we do at Red Remedies is hyper-focused on getting results with the products that we deliver. If we look at the way we formulate, it doesn't matter what product we deliver. Red Remedies, our expertise is designing formulas that get results. And so all of our products are designed to nourish, support, and create balance. We want to nourish your body specific to the health issue that we're addressing. And we talk about it that way because we realize even with herbs, we can push or stimulate your body. And we don't think that's the best approach. Nourishing is a better, longer lasting, more effective way to make healthy changes in the body. And then we want to take this step back and support all of the systems involved in that issue, because the body is whole and connected. There's never anything that happens in one area of your body that doesn't have this ripple effect throughout the whole body. And then ultimately, it is our goal to create balance in your body. Balance in the body is perfection. It doesn't get any better than that. A body that's in balance doesn't have symptoms, you don't have disease, and you have tons of energy physically and mentally. And I'll say that if it's your goal to create peak performance, you'll never achieve that if your body is not in balance. The second thing we spend time on is purity. We've made a purity promise too. You can learn more about this at our website at redremedies.com/purity. We have a third-party testing program that tests all of our products for about 500 different toxic compounds. So you can be sure that everything that we deliver at Red Remedies is absolutely clean and pure. And number three is family. We're a family-owned company, just like the majority of health food stores around the country that we serve. And we love this environment to give us the freedom that we desire to accomplish our mission well. And so another way to talk about this is we will never sacrifice people for profits. People come first in everything we do at Red Remedies. So let's get into the topic today. We'll start by talking about stress. And we know that stress has an impact on our body. And certainly there are some elements of stress that are good and are necessary. We need to exercise and to move. And yes, that is some element of stress on the body, and it's good for us. But stress, when it transitions into long-term daily stress, that's where we start to see some negative impacts. And so when I'm talking about stress, really it's defined as the body's reaction to a change that requires a physical, mental, or emotional adjustment or response. And so this essentially is a bunch of words that just means a stressor is anything that pushes your body out of balance. And now understand, our bodies are masters at dealing with stress. We do it all day, every day for our entire lifetime. But I want us to understand that it comes at a cost. Stress isn't free. And there's actually a term for this. The cost of stress is known as the allostatic load, which is defined as the price that your brain and your body are going to pay for being forced to respond to these constant stressors. So again, our body is good at it, but it comes at a cost. And if we don't deal with these stressors when they're small, stressors can compound. This allostatic load can build, and if it builds too high, it has absolutely been proven that the allostatic load can create changes in your brain that amplify our feeling and sensation of pain. This allostatic load can create anxiety and depression and PTSD and cognitive decline. Actually, stress is an equal indicator to heart disease as smoking cigarettes. Stress affects our blood sugar levels. Stress alone can create inflammation throughout your body. It disrupts our sleep cycles. Stress suppresses our immune system function. It diverts energy away from digestion. And of course, it can drain our energy physically and mentally. And I share all of these things with you just so we can understand. But I also want you to know that there are a class of herbs that can protect our body from all of the negative things on the screen right now. And those class of herbs are known as adaptogens. An adaptogen is not the name of a specific herb. It is a class, a small class of elite herbs. In order to be called an adaptogen, an herb has to have three very specific qualities. Number one, that herb needs to be non-toxic. And I will tell you that herbs are safe, and they are. Herbs don't hurt people, but that doesn't mean that all herbs are non-toxic. So an adaptogen herb has a very high safety profile. Number two, an adaptogen has this non-specific response in the body, and that simply means it has this unique ability to work anywhere in the body, head or toe, that your body needs help or support. And number three, an adaptogen has a normalizing influence in the body. And so that simply means that it doesn't matter if your weakness is an over or an underactive issue, an adaptogen has this unique ability to bring that back to balance or to center. So we're going to talk about 4 products today. And as I go through these, I will point out the different adaptogen herbs to you that we use, so you can start to become familiar with them. And while all adaptogens are amazing at helping us deal with stress, each adaptogen has an expertise, something it's particularly good at. And so I'll make sure that I tell you what the expertise of each of those adaptogens are. We call this category at Red Remedies hope and possibility, and that's because that's the words that our friend Dr. Jantz loves to use. We've designed this category of products in partnership with Dr. Jantz and his team. He has a clinic just north of Seattle that specializes in helping people with anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and chemical dependencies. You can learn more about Dr. Jantz at aplaceofhope.com. It has been wonderful to have the privilege of working with Dr. Jantz and his team on these products. And the first product that we did with Dr. Jantz and team is Enjoy. Enjoy is a formula that's designed to help lift your mood and create emotional strength. This is a formula that's going to help us with depressive feelings and depressive symptoms. And the place that we need to be here is we want to focus on creating balance with neurotransmitters, which are these brain chemicals. Maybe we're most familiar with serotonin, so we certainly want to increase serotonin when we have depressive feelings. But the brain is not as simple as let's increase serotonin and all of a sudden my brain will be healthy and happy. We want a balance between all neurotransmitters in our brain, and that's what this formula is designed to do. And the place that we start here is with some B vitamins, specifically B12 and folic acid. What B vitamins do in the body is they are your catalysts. They start a chain of reactions that's necessary to create something different. And in this case, we want to create neurotransmitters. And a best way to understand this is just like making a campfire. If you want to make a fire, you need a catalyst. You need something to start that fire. And that, of course, would be a match. And that's the same role that B vitamins play in our brain in the production of neurotransmitters. They are the catalyst to get things started. And then we want to use another foundational nutrient. And when it comes to a healthy, happy brain, that is vitamin D. There are vitamin D receptors throughout the brain. And if they're not satisfied, the brain doesn't have the same ability to function in this healthy, happy way. And we know that vitamin D is essential for the synthesis and production of different neurotransmitters as well. And then we have two amino acids in Enjoy, L-tyrosine and 5-HTP. So if the B vitamins are the match for that fire, these amino acids are the log on the campfire. These are your direct precursors to serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. They are a wonderful and a safe way to give your brain the building blocks that it needs to produce these neurotransmitters in the amounts that you individually need. And that's what I love about giving the building blocks. This will not cause our brain to overproduce any one neurotransmitter, but to create them in balance. And then there are two herbs that we use and enjoy, schizandra and holy basil. Now, both of these herbs are adaptogens. So everything I talked about, these herbs protecting our brain and body from the negative effects of stress, is true of schizandra and holy basil. Schizandra, as an adaptogen, has an expertise of helping us with emotional stress. It's a wonderful adaptogen for those of us that are really dealing with a lot of emotional type stress. And holy basil has an expertise of helping us with emotional strength. So this is the perfect combination when we're feeling low or feeling blue, kind of those depressive symptoms, and we just need to have this lift to a healthy and a happy place. Enjoy is a 2-tablet-a-day product. The best way to take this is 1 tablet in the morning, 1 more in the afternoon or evening. I like that divided dose, but I'll tell you, if you're the individual that says, I only take vitamins once a day and that's it, please take both of them. I'd rather you get both of these in a day than miss that second dose. But if you can split them up, that would be a little bit better. And you're going to feel with Enjoy a nice, slow, steady lift up to a place of health and happiness and wholeness when it comes to brain function. And our partner product to this is At Ease. So with Enjoy, we're lifting you up to a place of balance. With At Ease, we need to kind of maybe bring you down to a place of balance. This is for those that are struggling with anxious feelings, focus and concentration issues. Maybe your brain is just always racing and spinning and you can't quiet down. You can't even think or make decisions easily because there's so much going on. With At Ease, we're going to provide a sense of calm, clarity, and focused thoughts. Now, what's interesting here is the end goal is the same exact end goal as Enjoy. We want balance with these neurotransmitters. We just have a different starting place. You're up here, we want to bring you down, whereas Enjoy, you're down, and we need to bring you up. So where do we start with that? B vitamins again. Now, different B vitamins, we tend to see different deficiencies in an anxious brain than a depressive brain, but the purpose of them is exactly the same. These are your catalysts to start that chain of reactions so we can create neurotransmitters in balance in the brain. And then a couple foundational nutrients here as well. Two specifically, we're using choline, which is a fat. Choline is a healthy fat. It's essential for brain function. And we need some of these kind of foundational nutrients because when we're anxious, our body tends to use more of these resources. No different than if you're speeding 100 miles an hour down the highway, you're going to use more fuel than if you're going the speed limit down the highway. And our brain and our body is the same way when it's anxious. And so choline is one of those resources that we need for healthy brain function, along with magnesium, two wonderful foundational nutrients. We also add some GABA to At Ease. GABA is your main calming neurotransmitter. This is part of what makes At Ease work so nicely and quickly for that anxious and kind of overactive, overstimulated brain. GABA quiets you down nicely. Don't worry, it's not so much to put you to sleep. We don't want to do that during the day. We just want to quiet the brain a bit. And then 2 amino acids here as well. 5-HTP, again, the same amino acid we see in Enjoy. This is your direct precursor to serotonin, because whether we are struggling with a depressive or an anxious brain, both of these individuals are deficient in serotonin. So 5-HTP is an important amino acid for both of these individuals. And then L-theanine. What I love about L-theanine is it has this unique ability to both increase relaxation and alertness at the same time. Now, this only makes sense, I think, in this, exaggerated, kind of overstimulated, anxious brain, where if we can increase relaxation, we're actually more alert, more able to think and focus at the same time. So an important amino acid. And then we have 2 herbs in at ease. The first is Bacopa. And while Bacopa is not a true adaptogen, it is very adaptogen-like. It has a lot of the qualities of an adaptogen. It's not quite classified as a true adaptogen, but it is a powerful and a wonderful brain tonic. It's great for focus and concentration and memory. One of the things that I love about Bacopa is that it also helps our body deal with some of the physical issues that tends to go along with anxious feelings. You might feel like you can't breathe because your muscles are tight and tense. Your blood pressure might be up a little bit. Your heart might be even beating a little bit fast. Those things can all be symptomatic of those anxious feelings. And Bacopa helps to relax the cardiovascular system, relax the bronchioles nicely, and kind of wash that physical stress away at the same time. And then we add Schizandra here as well. The same adaptogen I mentioned in Enjoy. Schizandra is that adaptogen whose expertise is for emotional stress. Again, the perfect adaptogen for a formula like this, and really ties the whole at ease formula together. With at ease, you can take as much as 2 tablets twice daily. Again, I like that first dose in the morning, the second dose in the afternoon or the evening. I encourage you, start with that higher 2 twice a day dose initially. Let's get you feeling better, and then you can bring that dose down and find a good maintenance dose for you. Now, one of the first questions that I always get after this piece of the seminar is people say, well, I have both depressive and anxious feelings. Do I need to take 2 formulas here? And the answer is no. What's important is to figure out which one of those types of feelings is more dominant in you. And it's generally pretty quick to find out, are your feelings a little bit more low? And maybe you just have a hard time, putting a smile on your face, or even maybe you don't even have motivation to go out or be around people or to accomplish anything today. Those are all feelings of depressive symptoms. And so Enjoy is the right product for you. Whereas maybe you're just always, scatterbrained a little bit, a lot going on. You can't think or focus or concentrate, and decisions can be hard to make. If that's you, at ease is the right product for you. And I'll say, after this short little question here, if you still can't decide which one is right for you, I promise you at ease would be the right one for you to try, because the challenges of making decisions are an indication that you have just a little too much going on, and we need to quiet that brain. So give at ease a try in that case. So this is an important slide to understand, because what we see is both the individual that has depressive feelings or anxious oftentimes struggles with sleep. Why is that? And that is because we are both deficient in serotonin, and you can see that serotonin is the direct precursor, if you follow that down to the bottom left, of melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that our body produces when it's time to go to sleep, and it kind of sets your body's clock. If you're deficient in serotonin, you will not produce enough melatonin and you will struggle to sleep. So rather than giving you melatonin, which, as I just mentioned, is a hormone, I would rather give your body the building blocks so it can produce what it needs the way it needs to. So we use 5-HTP. And again, I mentioned that in both at ease and Enjoy. 5-HTP is your direct precursor to serotonin. Now we'll produce serotonin. We'll have a healthy, happy brain that will allow us to produce melatonin at the right time in the evening so we can sleep better at night. It's a wonderful foundational way to put the whole thing back in balance together. And we use this as well, this amino acid 5-HTP, in our formula at ease PM, which is for sleep. So I would encourage you, if you are also struggling with sleep, Add at ease PM to your daytime at ease or enjoy formula, whichever one is right for you. At ease PM stacks very nicely on top of either of those formulas. And you're going to find that this is going to do a much better job to kind of reset that body's clock. So we're falling asleep better at night, waking up feeling better during the day, and we start to feel better much faster. So this is a great way to get that started. At ease PM is just a 1 capsule, half hour to an hour before bed. The formula is very similar to the at ease formula, a little bit different doses and some of the nutrients, things that we're going to want a little bit more of at night, like that GABA, which is that calming neurotransmitter. We've changed the herbs up in here significantly. Here we're using California poppy, hops, and lemon balm. These 3 herbs do a wonderful job of relaxing the brain and the body, helping you get in that deep sleep and stay there through the night, wake up feeling refreshed. So add at ease PM to either at ease or enjoy that you're using during the day. All right, let's cover one more quick product here. We're going to talk about Crave Stop, and you might wonder, why do we have a craving product in an emotional health conversation tonight? And that's because, of course, when we're anxious, when we're stressed, what do we tend to do? We tend to eat more snacks, especially sugary snacks. And Crave Stop is designed, and I love the way that we actually frame this. If you read the slide right now, it says, we're going to help your brain and your body work together to tackle sugar cravings. And that's what Crave Stop is designed to do. Food is both physical, so we have to work on the body, and emotional, we have to work on the brain. If we only work on one or the other, we're not going to do a perfect job of helping with sugar cravings. So that's what Crave Stop is designed to do. And of course, if we understand the problem here, the problem is the fact that we consume too much sugar. Actually, on average, we consume about 142 pounds of sugar a year, which it honestly is just far too much. It is said that we should be consuming about 22 pounds of sugar per year in order to be healthy. I honestly think that might even be a little bit much, but right now we're consuming 7 times that amount. So we absolutely need to lower and reduce the amount of added sugars that we're getting in our food. And I tell you, I know it's difficult. I've got 68 different names for sugar on the screen here that are all legal to use. So it can be very challenging to know, how do I understand with the sugars that I'm consuming? And we know that there are packaged foods that might have 5, 6, or even 7 different types of sugar listed on that nutrition facts label. So it can be a challenge. So I encourage you to learn more, watch those labels closely, and reduce sugar. So the blood sugar cycle should look like this. We should eat a meal and when we do that, our blood sugar should come up, and over the course of a few hours, it should glide really nicely right back down to baseline. And notice here, it glides and lands right on that balanced baseline of blood sugar, and then we should be hungry and eat again. But we know that for most of us, unfortunately, our blood sugar cycle looks a lot like this. We eat a meal that's not quite so balanced, a meal that's high in sugar or high in simple carbohydrates, which cause our blood sugar to spike. So we're in a place of having too much sugar in the bloodstream. And our body is going to fix this imbalance. Yes, it is considered an imbalance. So our body produces insulin. That's how our body fixes this problem. And because our blood sugar is high, our body overproduces insulin. And this is where the problem really starts, because insulin doesn't know where baseline is at. Insulin works on a timer. So it's going to work until the timer goes off. It doesn't know that it achieved baseline. It doesn't have an off switch. And so this insulin that we produce pushes our blood sugar down below baseline. And now we're in this state of hypoglycemia. The problem with our bodies in a state of hypoglycemia is we have no ability to fix this imbalance on our own. We need an outside source. So what happens here is our body says to our brain, hey, brain, I want to let you know that I'm out of balance. We've got low blood sugar going on. Can you give us a hand? And the brain responds to the body, absolutely. Thanks for letting me know. Hold tight. I've got help that's coming on the way. I know exactly what to do. And our brain tells us to go eat sugar, right? Go eat snacks, go eat whatever it is your favorite sugar. It could be chips or cake or candies or anything like that. And if we don't listen, our brain gets louder and louder, doesn't it? Because we need to solve the imbalance. We cannot live in a state of hypoglycemia. So our brain is going to be very loud to tell us to fix the problem. And of course, we respond and we feel great for just a short minute as our blood sugar comes up. The problem is we start that cycle over and over and over again. I will tell you, this is one of the most damaging things that we do to our body. We've got to fix it. We've got to get blood sugar back to its normal cycle. And that's what Crave Stop is designed to do. So the way that we do that is we start with an extract of seaweed. It's a patented extract known as NC2. And the first study that I saw in NC2 is this study here. Individuals consumed NC2 about 30 minutes before eating white bread. Now, hardly a balanced meal, obviously a lot of simple carbohydrates. And what we found in the very first dose of NC2 is that blood sugar spike was reduced by 48%. This is an incredible response with a natural product, 48% in one dose. But we want to know, can we duplicate this effect, or was this just a one-time thing, and can we do it again? So we did another study. This time, NC2 was consumed 30 minutes before the consumption of some waffles, so very similar to white bread, high simple carbohydrates, maybe a little more fat in a waffle, but similar results. We got a 39% reduction in that blood sugar spike. Now here, we also tested insulin production. Insulin production actually went down 7%. Now, this is logical. If I'm not overproducing sugars, I don't need to produce that extra insulin. So this is a good thing we're seeing. And then we also tested insulin sensitivity, which increased 5%. This is also logical and important because if we don't overproduce insulin, our body can actually utilize what we do produce more effectively and efficiently. So this is starting to show a really positive picture using NC2 for blood sugar. So let me jump ahead to, there's a lot of studies on NC2. This is the most recent study, and this is a 6-month-long study. So the first two were just single dose. This is a 6-month study done on pre-diabetics. Now, what we know about pre-diabetics is if you don't change something about your diet or your lifestyle, there is a strong likelihood that you're going to develop diabetes. So this is a high risk group for diabetes. So the diet was absolutely standardized, as well as the exercise. The only difference between the NC2 group and the placebo was simply whether, again, they got the NC2 or whether they took a placebo. So within 3 months, this is what we saw happen in the NC2 group. We have 4 individuals heading towards normal. 1 individual actually already has a normal metabolic process. And here's the placebo group in 3 months. We have 2 individuals heading towards diabetes. Now, this is where the big shift takes place at 6 months here. Look at the NC2 group. What a massive shift moving towards normal. And actually 6 individuals have completely normal metabolic process. And again, this doesn't happen if you don't change diet or lifestyle, which did not change here. People don't get better. So we know that NC2 is having this dramatic impact. And of course, here's the placebo group. In 6 months, we have 5 individuals heading towards diabetes. This is a strong indication that this was a well done, well standardized study. And so NC2 has also been shown to reduce A1C levels, which is an indication of heart disease. It reduces fatty liver, all kinds of other peripheral issues that are a cause of metabolic syndrome. NC2 helps to normalize as well. So what else do we add to NC2 and Crave Stop? We add a mineral known as chromium. It's a patented form of using known as Chrominex 3+, which is a very stable, very absorbable form of chromium. We know that chromium is an essential mineral for blood sugar balancing in the body. We also add another herb known as Genema sylvester. This is a wonderful herb and a perfect combination to NC2 because NC2 works most of its activity in what's known as the in phase of blood sugar balancing. The in phase is mostly what happens in our gut, whereas Genema sylvester's activity is mostly in the out phase, which is blood sugar balancing in our bloodstream. So when we put NC2 and Genema sylvester together, we're able to work on that blood sugar cycle to normalize it through the entire cycle. So a great combination. And then the last ingredient in Crave Stop is American ginseng. Now, American ginseng is an adaptogen. I haven't mentioned those in a little while here. So American ginseng is one of those herbs that will protect our body from stress. What we also know about American ginseng is it has an expertise of helping with blood sugar. It nourishes the pancreas and has been shown on its own to help to normalize blood sugar swings. So it's the perfect adaptogen to use to protect from the stress of those blood sugar swings and help normalize that cycle. So if we look at if we look at Crave Stop, this formula is designed to take 1 or 2 capsules about 30 minutes before your 2 largest meals. Now, I would encourage you, when you first start using the formula, use the higher dose, use 2 capsules, half hour to an hour before your 2 largest meals, and understand that Crave Stop goes to work on the very first dose. And the more that we use it over time, it starts to balance that cycle even more and to help normalize the whole metabolic process. So thank you so much for listening today. And I just want to remind you, just like the kids have smiling faces on the screen here, today we're talking about stress, anxiety, depression, and those are heavy topics. One of the best things that we can do here is to put a smile on our face, to be kind to others, to say a kind word. And you know what happens when we do that is not only is it a benefit to the person that we smile at and say some kind things to, but we get a benefit at the same time. So I just encourage us, say a nice word, smile and be happy today, and know that at Red Remedy, it is our goal to help you feel better so you can always live better. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dan, for presenting today. And thank you everyone for attending. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and watch for more presentations from Natural Grocers. Thank you and good night.